This is the Above Average Podcast, and you are listening because you want an above average life. Alright guys, welcome back to the Above Average Podcast, the podcast where we talk to above average people about their above average lives. Now, if you're listening on or around the release date, Happy New Year. It is now 2024. If you're not listening around that time, I hope this year is doing good for you. So, my first guest of the year is no stranger to saying it exactly like it is, expressing his opinions and grabbing life literally by the balls. He's an entrepreneur and TEDx speaker known for his very unique events and bringing people massively out of their comfort zone and making them literally harder to kill. So please welcome Mr. John Beamson to the show, mate. How are you, mate?
I'm fantastic. That's a great intro. And moving forward now, Harder to Kill is definitely going to be featuring heavily on my LinkedIn. I feel like LinkedIn needs a bit more. It needs a bit more rah-rah. This week's been a bad week. It's been far too many people saying why they're not going to do the things that they should do, which I find incredibly disappointing. Yeah,
which we'll definitely get into as well, mate, because I know when I spoke to John on the phone, it was the first 10, 15 minutes of our chat was just us ranting about New Year, New Me people. So I had to save a question for that. I was like, I'm going to cut this rant short so we can save it for the podcast. But before we get into what you do now, I'd love to take you back to your military days.
Yeah.
So you were in the forces for 11 years. So how did that come about?
I did shit at school in the northeast. So when you do shit at school in the northeast, you've got a choice. You can either go into a factory or you can join the army.
That's the two.
That's pretty much
that's the fork in the road. Yeah,
that's the career path. And I didn't see myself working in a factory. So I had members of my family who'd served. So I already had that, like, oh, I want to join the army. But like everything else in my life, it wasn't an easy road. It took me 3 attempts to join the British Army.
Wow.
Because the first time and the second time I wasn't quite fit enough.
Mm-hmm.
And again, looking back on it, those setbacks were fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Because if I'd have joined the first time, I wasn't mentally and physically ready. So everything happens for a reason. Mm-hmm. And it either happens for you or it happens to you.
Yeah.
And it's to have the mindset to think which one of those am I going to choose. So I'm glad that I failed twice and to get in the third time. So giving myself 2 more years to be fitter and stronger mentally and physically, and ultimately as well, joining at 18, not joining at 16. I don't think 16-year-old John would have been able to cut. I call it this man's army.
It's a different level from 16 to 18.
100%.
Like it's only 2 years, but those 2 years make a massive difference. So what stopped you from getting in the first 2 times?
So I had childhood asthma as a kid, and whenever you said you have asthma, there's certain tests that the army have to perform on you.
Yeah.
It's like a bit of a peak floor, but on steroids, and you have to hit a certain level. And my lungs were like, whatever the pointing system was, I was like 2 or 3 under the minimum pass.
Yeah.
But they were like, the thing is, you never want to aim for a minimum pass. Like if you're aiming for minimum passes in anything that you're doing, you dog shit.
Yeah, it's a good life lesson
right
there.
That's
Not
good enough. So the third time I went round, I went down, and obviously because I failed twice, the third time I spent like a year in a running club. So I joined a running club and thought, well, if running's good for your lungs, innit? So I turned my lungs into absolute fortresses, and then like I nearly fucking broke the peak floor thing. So like,
so you went from 0 to 100 pretty
like
much.
Went into that whole like I want to break the peak floor. Like that was my mission.
Interesting. That's an interesting mindset to have at 18 though, because not many people would, have that mindset of I'm gonna, rather than aim for the bare minimum, which is what a lot of people do, to aim for I'm gonna fucking break this machine. Like
I think it dictates the standard. It dictates the tempo. On the way up here in the car, I had like a podcast on, and something I'd never heard before, but your attitude dictates your altitude. And that's the first time I've ever heard that, and I was like, that's going on LinkedIn next week.
That's my Facebook post for the day done. Yeah,
thanks very much for that.
There's the likes coming in.
Yeah. So I think I've always had that about me, and then getting a strong pass in the physical side and being accepted in the British Army was a huge achievement, because whenever you fail something, to then achieve it, but achieve it well, you've excelled.
Yeah.
So it was a big moment in my life.
Yeah, nice, man. So what is life like as an average soldier? Like what would people not understand? What have people not really seen?
I think the British Army has changed a lot, and I can only talk about when I served. So the early 2000s to 2010, 2011 was a fantastic time to be in the army, because the army had gone through a lot of change. So soldiers who joined in the 90s, who got out in the 2000s, will say, we had it easy. And then the ones who joined in 2000 and left in 2010, we say that the next lot had it easy. So it's always been that. It was harder in my day, chat.
Oh, yeah.
But we had the remnants of like guys who'd served in the Falklands. So we still had like a lot of grizzly old vets who served in some pretty mega conflicts in regards to that. So we still got that side of it. And the army was a place of... there's a fine line between bullying and character building. I don't know where that sits. I've probably experienced both in my time in the forces.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we get away from it now. The job of a soldier is to kill somebody. Forget windsurfing and having fun and skydiving and learning how to drive a tank. That's like byproducts. The job is to kill somebody. And I feel like that's where the moment when I see the current army's recruiting thing, like, it's not an holiday.
It's like explore the world, become the best version of you.
It's a lie. You can do all of that other stuff, but ultimately, boys and girls, the job of the job is to kill another human being. Like, and let's not. Oh, by the way, we have to do this as well. So the other stuff that you can do, great byproduct, but ultimately, you're the defenders of the realm, if you want to call it. So I knew exactly what I was joining, and so did everybody else. And we did see armed conflict, and the instructors were right. So all the stuff that we went through, all the fine line between bullying and character building, which at the time when you're an 18-year-old lad and you've volunteered to join the British Army and you're getting absolutely terrorised, being told you're the worst recruiter that's ever gone through the depot. You're thinking...
There's like Full Metal Jacket shit where they just shout at you.
Yeah, it is like... It's almost like... I mean, some of the sayings that they use are dead funny, like in retrospect. I mean, they would say, like, what's the difference between you and Hovis? And we'd go, what? And we'd go, we could make soldiers out of bread. Use a lot of shit.
Fucking hell.
Like,
savage.
And it's savage. But it's nothing compared to armed conflict. It's nothing compared to what it's going to be. So being all nicey nice at the front end, it won't serve you when it comes to actually doing what you've joined to do. So, like I said, fine line between bullying and character building. But ultimately, that's down to the people who are selected to become instructors at training regiments. And that's down to leadership and management of putting the right people in the right place and having that mix of the grizzly vets who've been there and done it and will give you the truth, and then the more sort of articulated thinking, there's other approaches to solve a problem than just shouting at it.
Or shooting it. 100%.
Shooting at it, So that's the truth.
So in terms of when you say the character building, do you think, personally, do you feel like you were bullied or character built?
Fine line between the pair.
So which do you personally feel hit you the most? Do you feel like it was more bullying, or do you feel like you were like, actually it's built my character?
Oh no, I built my character because the guy who joined wasn't the same guy who left. As in went into phase 1 training and came out of phase 1 training, and then it is what it is. They have to weed out the people who aren't going to cut the mustard when you join the actual British Army or any of the services. So it needs to be where it needs to be, and it certainly was when I was there. Because ultimately you are going into you're joining the British Army. There's certain levels of standards that have to be maintained, and then as I progressed in my career and climbed the ranks, I just repeated the same behaviour. So when I was doing some sort of instructing and stuff, I'm renowned for playing the bad cop. I actually quite like playing the bad cop. So
you got your own villain soundtrack
so I've got
going on in your head.
Where I'm now saying to people, what's the difference between you and Hovis?
But the thing is, though, what I found is I've worked with a few people who've come from the military, and I always find that, like, I mean, one of my mentors was a guy called Luca, and he was in the military for a while, and when we worked together, he was very, when we would go filming, for example, the kit that we brought was laid out on tables. It was checked, double checked, triple checked. It was very like a military, what you'd imagine a military regime. And it's like, whether or not he never said it was like a military. He never said we're going to do this like military, but he had that in him, and it showed. And I think when you work with military people, you can see it's still in there, it's ingrained, and it's not going to leave them. That level of organization, professionalism, I mean, not all of them, but you know what I mean? That level of professionalism, that level of accountability, responsibility is very much, you've got to respect it as a civilian.
It comes with the dark other side though. Because I've been on the dark other side of it, where all those things that you've said are great, but they all come with another side, and the other side can be difficult to deal with if you're a civilian. So a lot of ex-soldiers are very much, it's my way or the highway, and they're very direct, and they're very in your face, and either you can accept that or you can't, and but it's hard for them to change because you're institutionalized.
Yeah, well, I remember I'm a big Ant Middleton fan.
Yeah.
Have you read any of his books?
Just like the odd thing that I've seen. And
well, he had an issue dealing with life when he came out of the military, and he ended up in prison. For it, because he couldn't control his anger, his impulses, and stuff like that. And I remember one of the best things about him is, and I think a lot of people respected him for it, was when he was going to go to prison, his lawyer said, claim like military stress, PTSD, and they'll let you off. And he said, but I haven't got PTSD. I'm not. This was a mistake that I made. I knew what I was doing, kind of thing. And he was like, I did this, so I'm going to take responsibility and I'll suffer the consequences. I'm not playing that card to get out of it. And I'm like, you know what? Even though you were away from your kids and your wife and whatever, you got to respect that. That props to take responsibility.
It's a huge thing to take. So my take on it is, the British Army trains you to be a soldier, but it doesn't untrain you how not to be one. So when you leave, when you go through your resettlement process, you're not desoldierized.
And they just let you go. Yeah.
Like, there's a process for sure, but you're not unsoldiered. So when you leave, you end up in the world, and the world doesn't need soldier ants. It just needs workers.
Yeah.
But you're a soldier ant. So your mentality is different, and you're taught to deal with conflict by being conflict, wherever it comes at you, and always to match it and then go by 10. So when I first left, I was a nightmare to employ, because front end I did everything right, and it looked like, and I'm sure some people hired me to say, oh, I've got my quota, as in, oh, look at us, we take on ex-military veterans.
Oh, like tick
the box thing. Like, oh, look at us, aren't we great? And then it's almost like gremlins don't feed after midnight. Do you know what I mean?
Don't feed the military man after midnight. Yeah.
Because then when something's not right, you become that lunatic. Like, I was terrible for it. Like, conflict, I would literally just look for conflict anywhere that I could find it and go, oh, amazing, we'll have a class one here.
Yeah, you mentioned to me that you love conflict.
I used to love it, as in when I first got out, because I was dead unhappy with myself. And I had no more stories to tell. So, like, I'll go and make stories by having, like, tear-ups with management and tear-ups with security guards.
Drama.
And tear-ups. So I had something to talk about.
Yeah.
When really all I was being was a dick. And causing, like, other people problems unnecessarily.
Yeah. Well, in your TED Talk, you mentioned a story where there was a day where you were out on a run and there was an emergency alarm went off.
Oh, this was in Iraq?
I believe so.
Yeah, so that was the consequences of being in Iraq, and I'd gone there to cover somebody who had got brought back to the UK. I only went for like a half tour, and the only thing you could really do at that time was go running. So you did a lot of running, and you were allowed to go running without body armor and helmet. So you'd go running, you'd have your tunes, and then the sirens would go off, and for whatever reason, at this time, I was at one of the most remotest points of the base at the time, and I was on my own for whatever reason, and the alarms had gone off, and the drill was, when you get incoming rockets or mortars, you've got to lie on the floor, because you've got to understand how a mortar works, the trajectory when it explodes, the arcs that it explodes in. So if you could get down low, you potentially could be missed. The arc could miss you.
Right.
And then obviously to find, so where I took. I was on a road, but next to it was a wadi, so like a ditch. And then I'd crawled into the ditch. And I'd always come under mortar fire or rocket fire with other soldiers, and how soldiers deal with situations is like humour. But it's humour to mask real emotion. So that...
Gallows humour.
Yeah, so when you're on your own, there isn't like no one you could crack a joke with. So when you're left there, like, however long that attack was, to me it felt like a lifetime, but maybe let's say it was 2 minutes. That's a long 2 minutes when you're like that. Them mortars are getting closer, and the ground's fucking shaking, and the sound waves are flapping passing over you, and you're getting splashed from the mortar rounds, from the dirt and the debris, and you're thinking, I hope the next one misses.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't, I'm dead.
Yeah.
And then you start contemplating, what happens if it only blows like my legs off and then I bleed to death? Like, how's that going to be as an experience? And then you're thinking, well, hopefully it'll land on me and it'll just kill me outright. Which there's not really, really great choices there.
Yeah.
But then you think, like, you have moments where you think, have I done enough to, did I phone home, or have I done this, or have I done that? Because in the moment, you've got a lot of time with yourself, and then obviously it's an experience. So once that mortal alarm's finished, I stand up and run back to my accommodation, obviously clearly distressed by it, been crying, walk into the accommodation. Again, soldiers use humour, and when I walked into the accommodation, one of my colleagues went, "What's wrong with you? No chocolate in the shop, you fat cunt." Like that, like, and I was like, "Oh yeah, they only had bounties. Oh, bounties is shit." Like,
you had to jump straight back into
false bravado mentality. And it was like, oh yeah, I've just nearly been killed, but now we're back to saying like, that's how it is.
Yeah.
And that's how you accept it and move on.
You couldn't do that sort of service, that sort of job without that level of humour. Because, I mean, to be fair, I'm a very sarcastic guy. I love my jokes. I love humour. Dad jokes are my thing. And anyone who's listened to these before will know that. But it's just, I get through a lot of harsh situations. I've never been under mortar fire.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously the worst thing you've ever been through is the worst thing you've ever been through.
Yeah, no,
but
it's all relevant.
You know, I go through life with a lot of sarcasm, a lot of humour, a lot of sitcom energy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, that helps me get through. But I can imagine if you're being shot at, you know, you've got two choices. You either let that sort of, I mean, obviously correct me if I'm wrong, you let that sort of fear mentality jump in and you're like, fuck, I'm under fire, I'm going to fucking die. Or you kind of have to, what I would imagine, disassociate a little bit and be like, right, well, this is okay, I can get out of this, and have that this sort of like almost like this running gag reel in your head of trying to keep you calm.
The training, like the training that you do, because you do it repetition, it becomes natural. So like there's certain thing when that mortar alarm goes off, I don't go, oh, fucking hell. My instinct is that you hit the floor. So straight away you hit the floor, and then you do the things that you're taught. So you do sort of, it is repetition, but yeah, you need dark. The Forces is run on dark humour, and by the way, it always has been, and it always will be, because, like I said, when you're in the business of killing people, it's not a nice business to be in. So I can't comment on the new modern army because I've been out of it too long. I have no idea what they're going through, but war hasn't changed.
War never changes is the famous phrase, isn't it?
Won't never change. Bit of fallout. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I was wondering if you get that reference.
I get it. So like, we'll just come up with new ways of hurting each other. Yeah.
Well, we're all hellish murder apes, really. We all
100%. 100% from the days of coming out of the cave. Like, that's just how it is. It's the tribalism thing.
Yeah, man. So you actually mentioned to me that you're actually the veterans groups that come out of these things. You're not actually a huge fan of them. You chose to kind of stay away from them, but your reasoning behind it is, what I would say, slightly controversial, but also makes a lot of sense. So can you, how far can you go into that?
Yeah. So for me, when I first left, I joined a lot of veterans groups, and then I quickly realised what veterans groups are. They're set out with a good purpose, but unfortunately, they either get hijacked, they just get hijacked, and they get full of people who love to live in the past. And living in the past won't move you forward. So always looking back as the good old days is a terrible thing to do, because nostalgia is a terrible thing. So when I started to say to people, yeah, but you could do something new. Like, you don't have to deal with what you've got now. You know, you don't have to meet in a pub on a Monday night and talk about the good old days. You could be doing something more productive. You could get into this. You could get into that. And it just met a lot of friction with it. Yeah. Because some people don't want to accept that time in their life is finished. And they don't want to move past, like, oh, I could be something else. So, like, I have nothing to do now with any veterans. Well, I say that. I've actually just recently started with an organisation in Darlington, but that's just because it's landed in front of me. but I don't actively sort of promote that I'm a veteran. I don't actually, like, it's a chapter in my book and it's long read. And I say to people, like, if you're not adding new chapters in your book, then your book's shit.
Yeah.
Like, if you're reading about chapter from 1992 and it's, you know, it's 2024, like,
it's funny that because it's funny because you do see those people, and I mean the joke is the people who peaked in high school, which is a funny thing on TikTok and stuff, which is like the people who they were at their best times. I mean, actually, to be fair, the best thing. Have you seen The World's End? With Simon Pegg? You know how he's
100%.
Yeah, for anyone that hasn't seen this film, it's basically you need to go and fucking watch it because it's a great film.
Yeah.
But it's Simon Pegg and obviously Nick Frost as well. But Simon Pegg's character is he becomes an alcoholic because the best time of his life was when he was drinking with his mates.
Yeah.
And he can't get over this one night that they didn't finish this pub crawl. That's it, isn't it? And it ends up leading to problems that his whole life. And he still dresses the same. He has the same car. I mean, obviously it's taken to an extreme. But that shows you the mentality. That is a real thing that does happen.
But I see it all the time, and then that's why I pretty much have nothing to do with veterans organisations because they're just full of people who live in the past and they love it.
But do you feel empathy towards these people? Do you have do you feel a bit sorry for them?
I feel sadness for them because like ultimately it only ever leads to one place, and that's like there'll be times when those people are on the lawn and they think, I wish I was still in. Because I don't wish that I was still in anymore.
Yeah.
I used to, but I don't now because I found like my new passion.
Yeah.
And that chapter's long closed and long shut.
Yeah.
And there's other people who I know for a fact who'll be like, oh, remember when we did this in 92? And like, I just think like, I'm really sorry for you.
Yeah.
And then they're so against the things that will make them better.
Yeah.
They're so like against it. And the amount of people who say to me, we're doing Scarfell Pike. Oh, yeah? Yeah, so-and-so's doing it. He was in the army. I meant, it's got no relevance to walking up Scarfell Pike at all. Well, he was in the army, right? He was in the tank regiment. You don't drive tanks up Scarfell Pike. Why is that? It's not relevant.
Yeah.
Just because he was in the army it doesn't correlate to being the world's greatest outdoorsman, or that he can read a map, or that he's got the skills and the organisation. And, you know, it's trash. There was a group a few years ago in Darlton who they made a cock of it. They tried to organise a Yorkshire Free Peaks, and then they picked like the worst month, didn't organise it properly, and then in breaking news, guess what happened? They didn't finish it, and it was a shower of shit. And I was like, well, I could have told you that. Yeah. But it's that. Alan, who's in the army, is organising it. I'm sure he's got it all boxed off.
But it's funny that we trust that way. If someone's in the army, there's that level of. I mean, unless obviously you've been in the army, then you know. But if you say to someone, they were in the army or whatever, there's this level of a little bit of like there's respect, there's trust, there's like, it must be a solid person.
I think it's blind trust, and one thing I would always say now to anyone organising anything, we live in a society where there's a fuck about and find out factor. And as long as things don't go wrong, it's fine. Yeah. But when they do go wrong, fuck about and find out. Yeah. And we live in a world where risk assessments, duty of care, these things are a real thing. Yeah. And you ain't going to stand up in court and say, well, what it was, Your Honour, Alan, who was in the army 15 years ago, he said it was all right. Because that's what you have to do. Yeah. And if that sounds stupid, saying it out loud to yourself, then it is stupid. Yeah. Because you can't justify what your actions are. Just because
you were in the army.
Just because someone once did something years ago. Yeah. So, like, when I hear, like, a lot of organisations would have approached me about various stuff. And I'll say, it's no different than anything that you do in any business. It's if it's an organised event, it's no longer a jolly. And if it's no longer a jolly, then there needs to be certain levels of duty of care in place. Because if it goes wrong, whoever's the organiser or the figurehead, that's who the police will want to speak to. Yeah. And that's who the HLC will come and see. Yeah. And then that's where it gets messy. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna talk about your events as well. It's funny because it's like imagine people, because I was brown belt 2-stripe in the karate that I was in, which was like you had brown 3 and then you had black, and I was like fucking 10 or something like that, you know. I did this, and I'm like, imagine me going around, imagine someone saying, we're gonna go out of town with Adam, but it's okay because he did karate. I'm like, Fucking, I'm 28 in 2 months. Like, I couldn't kick, I couldn't fight now to save my life. But it's like, oh, you did karate back when that's the same sort of mentality, isn't it?
So the big problem at the moment is influencers, organizing like group events and trying to just go, oh, it's a walk.
Yeah.
It's not a walk because it's much bigger than that now. And then they start working outside of the remit of safety, numbers, and basically their egos are running the show.
Yeah.
They love the fact that, oh, I'm taking 40 people out. All right, okay. With what knowledge and what skill and what qualifications.
Yeah.
And you need to always think, I always think, if I end up in a courtroom and I've got to say this out loud, I don't want to look around and see people smirking.
Yeah, you got to sound stupid. Yeah,
because if you say it out loud and it sounds stupid, it is stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. You're 100% right.
I'm going to take 40 people out who I don't know on a really challenging day out in challenging weather conditions. I'm not doing that. Like, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
With no safety precautions.
Yeah.
We don't need to sign anything. Just come along.
Just come along and we'll have a good crack.
Because you're liable for everything that goes wrong. Yeah.
And that's what they need to realise. But again, I said it on the TED Talk, ego, if you can conquer your ego, you'll take over the world. If you can't, you'll conquer your bedroom.
And, I like that.
And that's the truth.
Yeah.
And I was definitely in the bedrooms phase, like, and that's where you need to get past it.
Yeah, 100%. So after the military, you went in to be a truck driver, which I'll touch on briefly, but which is a bit of a tangent from the military. But how did you go from what I really want to know is how did you go from driving these trucks to, obviously I know you said you had multiple jobs, you're a bit of a nightmare to employ, but how did you go from the truck driving to coming up with the idea of these running events that you do now?
So again, the answer to that is I didn't. What happened was I was living the comfortablest dream ever, as in I did 4 days on, 4 days off for a great company at the time, and a guy who I used to work with, he was more into fitness at that time than I was, and he just said to me, "Oh, John, you're a fairly decent fit lad. Do you want to come and do the National Three Peaks?" Now, I didn't even know what the National Three Peaks was, but my ego of being an ex-soldier and I once something else was like, yeah, mate, fucking crack it, mate, yeah. Not really anywhere.
That was a great impression of your past self.
Yeah, that was actually my past self. So I did it, and it was a real wake-up call to just exactly where I was. And so the National Three Peaks, for people who maybe have not heard of it, is Ben Nevis, Scarfell Pike, and Snowdon within 24 hours. So anyway, we did it, and like, I quickly realised that a lot of people in this group had spent a lot of time training, where I trained 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But I said to myself, just don't be fucking last. And I wasn't last, but on it, I got speaking to the guy who run the company, and I was like, what do you do for a living, mate? He's like, I do this. I was like, and when I did it with him, it was like 70 and sunny. It was a great group. It was the best conditions possible.
Yeah.
And I was like, amazing. Tell me more. And he's probably said that a million times. But I was like a follow-up guy. So I was like, can I phone you next week? Is that all right? I'll pay you for your time. And he was like, yeah, give us a ring next week. So anyway, he told me about like what he did and what I need to do. And I just took action. Like, got my mountain, started getting into hill walking, mountaineering, navigation. And then as you start moving in that world, different things start to appear, events, things that you've never heard of. Oh, I'll go and do that. Oh, and then you just find yourself in a new community. So I got into mountaineering and I got into like challenge events.
Yeah.
Yorkshire Three Peaks, National Three Peaks, other sort of famous, well-known stuff. And then from there, I just was like, I created a very unique style where I just was like, if you're coming out with me, everyone's motivated, they say yes, and they're fit guys and girls. Yeah. So I started, again, your vibe attracts your tribe and all that jazz. Yeah. So like, I just started to get like a core element of about 20 or 30 people who would constantly come out with us over a period of time. And then it was dead interesting because we all hit a point where you're like, how do I take this to the next level? Yeah. And then from watching like Instagram shorts and YouTube and all that, I was like, oh, this guerrilla marketing works really well, doesn't it? Like where you call somebody out. And then I like did a marketing course, so they're like, you need to identify who your audience is and who your audience isn't. And then from there, this is how you market to them and this is how you don't market to them. Yeah. And I was like, then obviously they mentioned like the likes of James Smith and people like that who have become influencers by saying, you know, Arbonne's rubbish, and then attacking another well-established brand to gain clout. So I sort of went down.
Which is a bit of a shit way to do it.
It is a shit way of doing it. It is a shit way of doing it, but it works, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Because people love that conflict. People love to see the drama. People are like, oh, what's he said about such and such?
Yeah, didn't say this. So I looked at it and thought, right, who don't I ever want coming on my events? And then from there, I was like, enemy, 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 and then I'd just be controversial. So I'd just be like, I created. Like I said to you on the phone, I created like the stereotype of like hilly huns, which was like women that would normally go to like Benidorm and get minging on the weekend. We're now going to the lakes and doing it, but then like hiding behind like mental health and like
because it's like it's not everyone, but it's like you know who these people are. Like there's people listening going, "Fuck, I know exactly who that is." Yeah. And then if you don't know someone that's like that, it's you.
It's you. And then they would go there in like leggings and tops, and it'd be like female empowerment, but it'd be like a body shot of their ass or like, you know, insinuating something else. Like the best one I ever saw was a girl with quite large breasts with 2 peaks in the back saying, "Have you ever seen 2 peaks better than this?" And
oh my God.
Unbelievable. And then like I would like attack that and go, "I have actually, yeah." And then
like reply to it. And
reply to it saying when you're trying to talk about the beauty of nature, but really all you want is likes and follows, so you get some free leggings.
Well, that's the influence our world now, isn't it?
Yeah. So again, when you do that, you attack them, their audience attacks you, and then from there it grows legs and arms. And then I was like, oh, this really works. So every week I do like 5 ways to be whatever. Like 5 ways that no one cares about your ice bath. So I'd whatever the trend was at the time.
You rinsed it.
I rinsed it. Yeah. And then like I rinsed the guys, I rinsed the girls, I rinsed ice baths, I rinsed like people who go wild camping but don't really go wild camping. Because all of these communities, they've got people who are like diehards. And if you can get a diehard to snap and flash at you, you've won. Because they will go on like
a rant about you.
I literally had people going on rants in like their own little world with like quite large group like following. And I'd be like, well, there'll be somebody in that group who thinks what I think's funny.
And they'll come to you. You basically piggyback off their audience, don't you?
You piggyback,
I'd love seeing people's videos like that, and I think I've never thought about doing it myself, but I know that it's a very good way to get followers and get into people's other people's audiences and stuff like that, because the best thing that people love is when there's drama, when there's what we call tea, and there's beef, where you know what I mean, when there's something going down, people want to be a part of that.
And all I did was like, it got great, but I created like my marketing was very negative. And then all of a sudden I wondered why I had like quite a negative audience. And then I was like, oh, because I've created it.
Yeah.
And then the Robust Tours thing, it worked because all of my ultra distance events, they were all full and things were going really well. But it just got like tiresome, like putting Instagram on like 45 replies, you're a shithead, blah blah.
All the DMs,
like, and it just got a little bit over much. And then naturally, I was already working with a few CEOs and managing directors and entrepreneurs, and I thought, they can't really get on board with this. Like, this isn't their gravy.
Yeah.
Though they might secretly laugh at it in their own time, there's no way they can go, pah. Like, it just doesn't fit what they're about. So I went on my own retreat weekend, and I brought a lady called Sammy Bundell, who's like an expert in branding, marketing, branding messages. And we had like, she was keynote speaking. And then a part of like the deal that she came was she gave everybody who came on the retreat like an hour of her time to like mastermind with her about like.
That's cool. Yeah.
And she basically said to me, John, do you want to be funny or do you want to make money? And I was like, pfft. And she went, this Robust Tours thing has to stop because you've become attached to likes, comments, people sharing your stuff, and you're not focusing enough here. So this has a ceiling and it's low. And you're probably already close to it. If you need to stop this now, don't run any more events under this banner. Close it, finish it, and put your energy into this.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to her at the time, oh, but I've got another this is the problem with I'll do it next year shit. So this was like the end of November.
Mm-hmm.
I already had 50 people booked onto an ultra in March. I'd already taken the money, like it was 125 quid a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
So I had like 50 people times 125 in a pot.
A lot, yeah.
It's a lot when you're skinned,
Yeah.
right? And then I was like, yeah, but can I not just run this one? And she went, no, because the time that you're going to put into still running that one, you'll lose out.
Mm.
So you need to get serious. So you need to refund everybody. So I had to literally go home, email everyone and say, we're closing, here's your money back.
Wow.
And that year, that sort of Christmas period, I had fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Because I had to work on the CEO Adventurer stuff and get serious.
Yeah.
Because if the problem with like, oh, well, I'll just run March, then you still have to put time and effort into a limited brand. Mm-hmm. So I had to make a decision to like refund everybody and then take action with the CEO Adventure stuff. And then Close Robust 2 is completely ditched all ties with that. And then it was just fully focused in like, right, this is who I am. This is the branding message. I don't market like that anymore.
Yeah.
As you've seen from like, me Instagram stuff.
You're very positive now. Yeah.
It's not wanky positivity.
It makes sense. It's logical.
Yeah, it's logical. It isn't like
one of the things that when you say that you love to like rinse the what do you call it, hilly huns?
Hilly huns, yeah.
When I used to do stuff like that, I used to my favorite thing to rinse is The Secret.
Secret locations.
No, The Secret, the book.
Oh, Secret.
Because the one thing that everyone, and it drives me fucking nuts, right? Because everyone talks about the bit, like for me, it's like there's different levels of self development, right?
Yeah.
And everyone starts at like. I'm not trying to be sexist, but everyone starts at, mostly women start at The Secret, right? They start with manifesting. They love this idea of, manifest your dreams, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I read The Secret fucking donkeys ago. And it's a good book to start with. If you are rock fucking bottom, it's a good place to start. But for most people, The Secret it's not, you know what I mean? People build businesses, like these women and some spiritual blokes as well build a business off The Secret. And I'm like, you're not going to get far. Like, people don't understand this manifesting thing. Like, there's not this unwritten law in the universe that if you just think positive and put out positive shit, that you get positive shit back. That's not how it works. Like, there's actions involved, there's stuff you have to do, there's changes, you have to do shadow work, there's tons of stuff, but people just see that surface thing, and I absolutely love to rinse this, as you can probably tell.
Yeah, no, and I get it, because again, like I push people, and I say, look, the magic's in the ugly work.
Yeah. Well, that's true, but that's what I mean. People don't want to do the ugly stuff. Like self-development is basically a lot of the time is self-destruction. It's like you've got to destroy bits of yourself that
100%.
you don't like, that aren't serving you, habits that no longer are within where you see yourself wanting to go.
I feel like last year I call it woo-woo and rah-rah. That's my take on it, right? So the woo-woo is the softer side, feelings, emotions, being vulnerable,
which has its place.
100% has its place. There's power in it. And then the rah-rah is the masculine. Let's get shit done. Let's hustle. Get up at 5 o'clock. Ice baths. Gym. That. You know what I mean? So I'm really good at the rah side. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, do you know what? I tell people to do more rah, but I don't do more woo. So last year I spent a lot of time doing the woo stuff. Because I want to be one of those people when I have conversations with people say, well, I've done your stuff. So... and you can see where I am. So why aren't you doing my stuff? Because what's missing from your world is Ra. You've got your vision board and you're manifesting, you're doing Reiki and you're doing shamanic healing and you're doing tapping and you're doing sound baths. Oh, great. Good.
It has its place.
It's got its place for sure. But tell me last time you got somewhere and you went, fucking hell, it's going to be ninja. Never. That's your problem. Because you fear the ugly work. You fear the amount of people. I run resilient mindset workshops, and I'll say this now: if you're running a mindset resilience workshop on Zoom or in a classroom, what you're really running is how to sit in a classroom and listen to someone talk waffle.
Yeah.
So
well, you said to me actually that this is the next scenario. Is that you mentioned to me that you think people need to be put in more fight or flight scenarios, and you've got several ways that you do that. There was 4 main ways you mentioned to me.
So whatever you don't want to do, that's what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason why you don't want to do it. So last year, a client who I work with, we went to the Yorkshire Dales on a bit of a mini retreat, me and him, and we were going to go, we did 1 day hill walking, and I thought, can't do a 2nd day hill walking, John, that's shit. But the Yorkshire Dales is renowned for caving. Mm-hmm. But I had a thing about caving. I was like, oh, fucking hell, I don't like caving.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, it's not about what I like. It's about what he's paid for. So I got a caving instructor, and like I created a workshop and questions, and we went caving, and I was like, fucking hell, we've got unreal. And then from there, I was just like, yeah, loads of people won't like caving because it's a metaphor. Like the amount of people I speak to, they say, oh, I would never do that caving. I'm like, all right, why is that? Well, so, and I'll say, before you go any further, how many caves have you been in? None. Brilliant. So you're going to tell me about a scenario you've never done to why you won't do something? Yeah. By the way, you're doing that everywhere else in your life. Because you are. Because it's a learned behaviour. The amount of conversations I've had with people say, oh, yeah, but then there's like monsters, isn't there? I'm like, what do you mean monsters?
Fucking monsters?
Monsters? What do you mean monsters? Oh, I saw this movie, The Descent, a fictional horror movie.
Do you know what? As soon as you said caving as well, it's like, I fucking
Descent,
remember,
yeah. And they
Fucking
bring
hell.
up The Descent. I'm like, oh, yeah, fictional horror movie about monsters in a cave that don't exist. And then, because you look stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so, right, so you have no experiences of it. And why don't you want to do it? I'll tell you why you don't want to do it. Because it's fucking awful.
Yeah. What was the experience of caving actually like? Because obviously you see these people on, obviously the worst case scenarios are on TikTok and stuff like that, where you see them, people getting stuck, their face is squished between two big rocks. Like, what's an actual like, average experience of caving like?
The first of all is acceptance of your situation and understanding what you can and can't control. And once you've understood that, then it's much easier. And caves are actually beautiful. And if anything, it's like time traveling because you can see the history of the earth in front of your very eyes because of like how deep you are in the layers of the of the earth that you're looking at.
Yeah.
And you see like mollusks and you know, bits and pieces from life, sedimentary rock that's been there for God knows how long, and limestone and all different sorts of stuff. And a lot of the ones in the Yorkshire Dales were first initially explored by the Victorians, so there's actually still things left over from the Victorian times.
Wow.
So like there's a lot of history in there.
Yeah.
And then depending on the person and their individualism, we either ramp it up or we don't ramp it up. And we offer people choices. Now I'll say to people, this next bit's called the mousetrap. Now straight away what I've done to you there is I've made your brain go to, oh shit, the mousetrap.
Yeah, what is that?
You've not even seen it, but you've gone, oh, the mousetrap, negative.
Yeah.
But without seeing it, you can't really make a decision.
I mean, that name would put you off.
Yeah, so
Anyway,
it's the name, innit? Oh, mousetrap. So we do like the mousetrap, and majority of people who I go caving with, I'm larger than them.
Yeah.
So I will go first, and I'll say, look, as a leader, you need to lead, and you need to be the example. So I'm going to go first, and then you're going to come behind me, and then me and you are going to have a conversation about the mousetrap once we're in the mousetrap. And we're going to talk about how do we feel, what's going on in our mind, is it as bad as we thought, is it not as bad as we thought, what was the initial fears. And then ultimately it comes down to the mousetrap is a metaphor for other things where you think you're going to get friction, so you don't do them.
Yeah. Do you know what's really good about what you just said as well is it's like you took the two parts that are required to make change. You took the action, but also the discussion about it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time you just talk about it, or you just do it. But if you blend the two, that's when you get that perfect synergy of like, this is how you make real change.
And then there's the coaching elements. But I work in a world, right? I always say to them, this is the mousetrap. I'll go first. But we live in a world of yes and no, or I do. So whatever the decision you make, I am completely cool with it because you've made a decision. Red language, green language. Or maybe one. No, that's shit. Yes, I'll do it. No, I don't want to do it. Whatever you give me, it's your day. You've paid for it. I'm okay with the decision as long as the decision has been made. So, look, 9 times out of 10, people say, John, I want to do it.
Yeah.
Brilliant, right? This is how we do it. And then once we get in there, there's a few tight turns and a few tight this, that, and the other. There's a few interesting moments. And I'll throw sort of like the spanner in the works. I'll say, the next bit's a bit.
just poke the stick.
And the next bit's totally fine.
Yeah.
And then I'm saying, well, can you see what I've done to you there? You're now going, oh, John said it's this. So you're now going, oh, the next bit's a nightmare. So if you do that in your team, because I'm working with CEOs, they're going to model your behaviour. So if you come into work on a Monday and say, it's going to be a shit one this week, guys, I'm like, you've just done what I've just done to you.
Yeah.
Metaphorically, now they're all thinking, oh, siege mentality. And it's not good. Your behaviour, they all model your behaviour. So the caving's great because it gets results. I'm caving in a few weeks' time. I don't ego cave. These things that you see on Instagram and stuff like that, that's people manufacturing. I could manufacture a space in a cave that's massive to make it look tiny. So when I see people doing that sort of stuff, I think...
Likes, attention.
Likes and attention, that's maybe it's not the truth. Because there's certain things that I've posted where people are going, oh my God, that bit there, and I could never get through. Well, you're smaller than me, and I got through. And caves, size does matter in a cave.
Yeah.
The bigger you are in a tight space... then
that makes sense.
That's
you can't argue with that logic, can you?
Science is science.
Yeah.
But it's this that stops people from doing stuff.
Yeah.
Not this. The amount of people say to me, I just need to get a bit smaller. I was like, and I look at them, I go, and when is that starting then?
Yeah.
This new, what's smaller how?
New me.
Your mentality's already tiny. What else needs to change?
Yeah.
So the caving's really good. Heights. People have a fear of height, but a fall from a height is a fall from height. The outcome's the same. If you did a 5 metre fall to a 100 metre fall, the outcome is death. Splat. So, but that one's very much about trusting other people, trusting equipment, having the confidence to lean back.
What's abseil you do for that, isn't it?
Well, there's abseiling. There's some other stuff, but we normally lean towards abseil because abseil is a moment in abseil where you've got to lean back over the edge. So the metaphorically leaning back over the edge into the harness is the hardest part, and once you're over, it's plain sailing ish. And then once they get to a certain point, we tie him off and we ask him for a 30-second elevator pitch, because it's understanding in chaos, where does your mind go? Can you still go, I've got a podcast, it can be found here, here and here, this is the link? Or do you go, because if you do that and you understand that that's what you do in chaos, the next time you're in chaos, don't make decisions. And understand, this is not a good spot. I don't make decisions when I'm under pressure like that, because I don't make great decisions.
Well, the best one you told me was the
tack
dog tag. Yeah. You knew that was coming, didn't you?
Dogs. Tack dogs is a really interesting one. I've had one guy do that so far, and again, the dog he faced wasn't the dog that he made in his mind. So he created like Cujo. Do you know what I mean? Like he thought it was going to be some absolute
Godzilla size. Yeah.
And then when he got there, I'm not saying he was disappointed, but the dog he created wasn't the dog he got.
Yeah.
And he was like...
So for people that don't understand what that is, it's where you wear the big suit and then they just basically set a dog on you, don't they?
So I work with a guy who trains attack dogs for the forces and the police, and his job is to take a dog from here to be able to sell it to those organisations.
Yeah.
And he needs to put that dog into scenarios where the dog learns to bite and release on command.
Yeah.
So he's always actively looking or needing volunteers to do that. And I said to him, there's something here where we could do something together. So again, there's 4 levels to it. So first level is about control. So yes, you put the suit on, he brings the dog out, the dog reacts to the suit. The dog knows exactly what the suit is.
Yeah.
So the dog you'll see the dog will see you in the suit, and the dog is just laser focused on you, biting, snarling, excited, wants to have you. So what we say is, the first one's about control. So the dog's tied, and then you move towards the dog with your arm exposed, and then when you're ready, you present your arm to be bitten, and that's you controlling the scenario.
Yeah.
So the dog will bite.
Me.
The dog will bite, and then once the dog's on, we let you have that first one as a bit of a test. The dog will release, and then I'll say to him, so how was that compared to what you thought? And it's all, so far, and I've gone through it. It wasn't as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
The suit offered more protection than I thought. The dog's not as big as I thought. His teeth aren't as... Like, it was your mind that was telling you that we were facing Cujo, the Godzilla dog.
Yeah.
And it's not that. So then the next one is we put the dog on you. So that's, again, you're waiting to be bitten. And all of these are relevant to, if you're in leadership and management, is it worth thinking about something that's difficult? Or is it worth just doing it?
Yeah.
Maybe you've got to make a sales call. Maybe you've got to bring someone in the office and say, look, your performance is not great. But the night before, I can guarantee you're thinking, happens if they kick off? What happens if they smash me up so? Like, you create the what if negative scenario.
Yeah.
So, like, when I did it with a guy called Ian, what happens if he bites through the suit? What happens if it doesn't? Always go what if positive.
Yeah, you've got to see the other side.
You've got to see the other side, and then again, I always check in with the person afterwards and say, "Are you ready to go to the next level?" And it's always, and I'm like, it's a yes or no answer, and whatever answer you give, I'm cool with it. This is not a stag do.
There's no pressure.
This is personal development, and if you feel like you've got what you needed to get from this scenario, I'm happy, you're happy, everyone's happy.
Well, it's like a few weeks before Christmas, we ran an event here for the members of the gym, and we had this guy called John. John Young came along, and he had his team, and basically,
the fire guy.
Aye, you met him, maybe?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well, we didn't do the fire stuff, but we did the broken glass walk,
Mint,
and the snapping of the arrows.
Yeah.
And like when he brings out the glass and says, "Right, you're gonna walk on broken glass." Loads of people were just like shrinking in their seats. Like, no, like that's well, I'm not fucking doing that. I'm gonna cut my feet to shreds. But interestingly enough, as well, I'm always game for something like that, something a little bit different. I mean, I've done random shit like skydives and all that sort of crap. But the glass walk was like weird because like you think it's just gonna absolutely shred you,
and it doesn't.
It doesn't. Like, for anyone listening, if you're going to do a glass walk, just do it. Do it slow. Don't try and sprint over it because then you will fucking cut your feet. But it's your mind that gets you every single time.
Is it to do with the pressure of your body expelling like your weight across a massive surface?
Do you know what it is? It's the noise that puts you off, mate. Because you stand on it, it's like pop, pop, pop. You remember? Have you seen Home Alone? Right, the first one. Yeah. You know when he comes in through the window and steps on the baubles, and he's like, that's what you imagine it's going to be like, but it's not. It's
he
not.
does Lego as well, doesn't he? Does he do walks on Lego?
Is it not the cars or something? The Hot Wheels cars or something? It's fucking something. But it's honestly not that bad. But like you said, it is your mind that stops you every single time.
I've heard of him a lot, and obviously because we're in the same football pitch, if you will. Like our paths will cross, and I will end up doing those things. It's a natural progression. And
I reckon you'll ace it. I reckon you'll just storm across it.
I have to do the things that I don't want to do, mate. That's my whole shtick. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what it's all about. So yeah, and then we do an assault course. An assault course is all about how do you handle things under pressure. And I'm your member of staff, and I'll model your behaviour. So if your energy and your enthusiasm's dog shit when we're doing obstacle courses, then guess what? So is mine.
What's the most common excuse you get when you're bringing someone through the caves or the heights or the dog attack? What's like the first thing that people say that you know is coming?
So the bullshit that everyone always gives is, it's a medical condition, and then I'll see them out on the piss, and I'll be like, so just remind me, you can't go in a cave because of a medical condition, but you can get minging and do sniff. Right. How's life working out for you, by the way? Because, like, it's bullshit. It's absolutely... When everyone puts a stall in, right, they're all bullshit. Every stall is bullshit. It's not the real reason why someone doesn't want to do something. So, there is one or two people who've just said, I'm not doing it. It's not for me. Brilliant. That'll do. Because that's a no or a yes. It's the people who... Oh, well, I don't see the value because, shut up, man. Like, you're full of shit. Like, like you are full of shit. Like,
well, I'll tell you the value of it, yeah.
You don't want to do it because you're full of shit.com. Oh, it wouldn't be for me because one time in 95, my nana made us go down. Like, what we talk... Like, I've literally had stories where I'm like, oh, fucking hell.
They're pulling from this reference of the past.
Where is this now gone? And the best thing is... So, there's a lot of people in the mindset space, okay?
Right.
But where, how, show, tell, because I see a lot of people giving it big waffle about move towards discomfort, but I only ever see them doing the things that they're good at. So where is your discomfort?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
You're very good at telling me that you go down and do cold water every day, but that's not discomfort for you because you do it every day. Yeah,
if you tell someone to do cold showers every day, at least take a selfie in the shower. You don't have to get everything out, but just have show that you're doing it or something.
And then there's a lot of... So I break mindset down into quite a few different things. So I teach people the resilient mindset. But there's money mindset, there's empathetic mindset, there's growth mindset. There's quite a few different avatars of mindset. So when people say to me, I'm a mindset coach, I'll go, what bit of it? Or like in general, okay. How do you teach, like, resilience? Zoom. Full of shit you are. Like...
What's the common trend of this podcast is that you hate Zoom. This is a recurring theme.
Zoom... Do you know what Zoom was? It was comfortable.
Yeah, especially after the lockdown
and like, let's be honest, people loved lockdown. Not everyone, but a lot of people loved, like,
being inside, not having to do stuff.
Being like, oh, here's 80%, just chill.
Yeah.
Get a Domino's. Just be like running at 50%, Zoom. And I don't think it's got its place. Look, like, I'll have meetings on Zoom and stuff. It's got its place, but it's if more of your meetings are on Zoom now, you need to have a look at your mentality.
Yeah. I mean, just look at this podcast, for example. Like, I've had other people say, I want to come on, and that's great. And I'm like, well, where are you? And they're like, in Northampton. And I'm like, well, you're like hours away. Like, and they're like, oh, do you not do Zoom? I'm like, no, because I don't like it. It's not the same as having an in-person chat.
I once, so a good business and a friend of mine now, he had a podcast in Essex. This was like 3-4 years ago. And he was like, mate, we'd love you to come on the podcast, but you're in the northeast, aren't you? I was like, yeah, where are you? He's like, Essex. I was like, oh, sound. I'll travel down the day before, and then I'll stay over. And he was like, really?
Nice.
I went, when opportunity knocks, it's for you to knock back.
Yeah.
And if you're limiting yourself because, geographically it's not close, so I won't do it, that is a shit mentality.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not willing to put the legwork in when someone's give you an opportunity, then all you're doing there is closing doors.
Yeah.
Because how do we know who sees this podcast? Yeah. My next great client could come from this podcast. Your next great guest could come from me, who knows me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that's how
it's happened.
I've seen things on LinkedIn this week from people, again, the Waffle Squad, saying this year I'm going to say no more.
No more?
No, I'm going to use the word no.
Oh, right, okay. I
more.
Get you. Right.
And I'm like, so you're going to close more doors than open? Yeah. You're going to have a shit year. Well done.
Yeah. So this is one of my questions, actually, I want to ask you. What's your take on people on social media, specifically influencers and people in our space? Like, because obviously you say how it is. Shit. Yeah. But in which bit really pisses you off the most? Which people do you tend to find are the most full of shit?
I think a lot of people in the self-development space are full of shit. I think there's a lot of people selling people dreams and lies. Ends in a 7. First 10 at the back of the room.
Well, they sell feelings, not results, yeah.
And they're not being, but a lot of them aren't even honest with themselves, because I watch people, mate. Like, if you're going to come to me and say, hey, John, we're going to take you somewhere where you've never been before, both mentally and physically, I'll watch that person. I'm like, if I don't see you doing something that's not in your wheelhouse, I'll be like, oh, interesting. So you're going to tell me to be uncomfortable, but you never are. And you're going to tell me to invest thousands, but you don't. So you're the top of the tree, are you? I caught a guy out last year, mate. Massively caught him out, and I called him out, and he hated it. And like, I ended up leaving his group. So.
Oh, so what? Like, you paid for his coaching?
So I was in like a networking group.
Aye.
And he was always rabbiting on about, do the things that you don't want to do, be uncomfortable, blah blah blah. And I called him out in a cave, like I did a call out, almost like a call out video, like a fighting call out video, where I was like,
I think you Tyson Fury.
Yeah, you know, blah blah blah. You think you're this, that, and the other. Let's spend more time doing than saying. What dates are going to work for you? Now, I thought he would have reacted really well to it, and I'm certainly not trying to put people on the spot to make them look foolish. I thought he'd go, oh, I love it, John. That's what it's all about. Taking action. Put us down, mush, we're in. Because he was always like giving it the big licks that he was playing like the 10k month game. Do you know what I mean? The 10k month game. Like, that's what I like. Big.
Oh well,
big,
yeah. 100%.
So he wouldn't, pocket chain shot stuff. And then he got like a massive sad on and said, oh, I don't need to prove myself to anyone. I was like, whoa, he's on.
I love that.
When was the last time he did anything? And then he had like this great story about once went diving in 1991. And I was like,
again, going back to the past.
Like,
you know,
91?
I wasn't even born 91.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your group.
Yeah.
But if you're the figurehead of this, then I now know that this isn't the place for me, because you're not doing what you're telling all these people to do.
Well, it annoys me because obviously I've done videos for 7 years. I've helped obviously run this business for the last 3, and you know, I wanted to start my own coaching business and stuff, and then I realized how much effort it actually takes to do that, and I realized I wasn't willing to do it. So I decided I'm gonna. That was it. I was like, you know what? I'm not willing to. I don't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. There's so much more than you think. I'm gonna go and, you know, be part of another business and help that grow. And I'm still doing something entrepreneurial and not just sitting up.
Yeah, 100%.
So, and obviously I still have the videos and stuff, but you get people that come to you for help, which is fantastic. When you're in this space, people want to know what you know. But when you give them the information and stuff and you show them what it is, the best part is when they take it all away, they take your ebook, they take your downloads, whatever, and then you follow up with them and they're like, oh, I'm going to do it soon, or I'm going to do this, or the post, what you've probably seen as well is they go balls deep, right? And they run with every positive thing on social media.
Yeah.
They make so many videos, they go live every day, they say, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. And then there's just radio silence.
And you know why that is? Because consistency is difficult.
It is. Consistency is king, and it's one of the hardest things to get down.
And this is the thing, like, lots of people get very excited very quickly, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and and they're just not a fan of consistency.
Yeah.
Because consistency is not sexy. Consistency isn't something that people will like and comment and go, no one's ever shared a post and gone, the most consistent man you'll ever see, or woman. Because consistency on its own isn't sexy. But ultimately, consistency brings results.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, consistency, a lot of that is behind the scenes. And people don't want behind the scenes. They want the shiny penny stuff. Like, they want I'm doing an ultra. I'm on an ultra. I'm doing ice baths. I'm a part of this group. I'm a part of that group. John, what are you doing? I'm doing consistency, mate. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Like, I just do consistency. And like, when you talk about people want your time, I'm very good now. If someone approaches me and I get like quite a few cold DMs or whatever, LinkedIn, if I look at your profile and I think, who's going to get more from this interaction? It's 75 quid an hour, mush. Because if you're a time waster, that hour of my time, I could either spend it with my partner, or I could spend it on my business, I could spend it with my mum.
Yeah. Exactly.
So if you want that hour, then you're going to pay for it. And I always say to people, it's 75 quid for the hour. Please have the questions that you want to ask. Don't ask me about anything personal, because you're not paying for me to tell you about my life story.
Yeah.
We're on. You ask me like, John, you know this person. How do I get to know this person? How have you done this? And you've paid for an hour of my time. So be very clinical with your time.
100%.
I've paid for people's time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't dream of getting in touch with someone, the people around this region and the other coaches and the mentors, and just be like, can I have an hour of your time? I just want to like build a world-class business off the back of what you've done.
Yeah, it's weird. It's what I made this mistake early on as well. I would find people who were doing similar things to what I wanted, and I'd message them and be like, have you got an hour? I'll buy you coffee and all that. Like, can we have a coffee together, kind of thing. And it's like, you don't understand. Like, people are fucking busy in this space. Like, to be a success in the modern age looks so easy on social media, so easy to fake. But to actually be a success in something, to either make money or to have a brand that's doing well, is a lot of effort.
I say to people now, is it a coffee with a purpose or coffee without a purpose? Let's just set the intention straight. Set intention straight with people. Like this week, I've just sent 6 letters, handwritten letters, to 6 of my dream clients. Yeah. With the intentions very clear.
But what handwritten's personal. That level of effort goes a long way, 100%.
Mate, and when you're badly dyslexic like me, it's a mission. I'd rather run 100k in glass than write letters.
I'm sure if we speak to John, he can arrange run on glass for you.
Get John on 100k's worth of
John
glass.
Young, we're gonna get John Beamson over here. He wants to run on glass
for 100k rather than write letters, because that's the level of commitment. But you're right. In a world where everyone wants attention, do things that in a slightly different way, and again, understand your audience and understand like how many cold DMs does Luke get from people. Hiya, mate, any chance you could just give us the keys to the kingdom? Yeah, come on down, mate. No problem.
We'll happily give people the time if they make some sort of effort. Like if they for us to come in the office, for example, if they want to come down here, if they want to speak to Luke or me, come down here. You've got to come to
100%,
me because we're not traveling. We're not having to. It sounds really arrogant as well, doesn't it? But it's not. It makes sense. Time. It is. It absolutely is, and it's only something that you understand when you're in this industry, isn't it?
No, 100%. It's you've got to understand what time is. So if you're going to dedicate time to something, then it's got to be a reward.
Yeah, 100%.
As in, is it a financial reward? Are you punching up or punching down? And understand that where you are in your in the chain and understand, like, if that person is higher than you, then you need to make the effort to move towards them.
Yeah.
And in breaking news, I don't need anyone to buy me a coffee.
Yeah.
So thanks for the offer.
Yeah.
But and just be clear with your intentions.
Yeah.
Like, I see that.
You don't have to be a dick about it.
You don't have to be a dick.
Yeah.
Look, I see you're doing really well. I'd love an hour of your time. What's the investment? I've already got my preloaded questions. What time and date works for you? Brilliant.
Because that just shows effort on your part. It's not like, give me all the information and I'm going to go away and do nothing with it.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And like, you know, whatever someone's hourly rate is, if you really want to know, imagine what they could tell you for whatever, 75 quid. It's mental.
Yeah.
How some people just don't go, oh, well, he wouldn't give us, like, there's a few people who I've sat on to me because I won't give them time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know I'm going to be punching down. Mm-hmm. And I know I'm not going to get anything from it. And they're going to go, oh, cheers, mate. And I'm going to go, thanks for the £3.50 coffee. So I don't give them my time.
But it's true. It's 100%. And you know what other people don't want to invest in as well? Not just people's time, but their books, their ebooks, audiobooks, things like that. It's like what you want to know about their mindset is in these books. I mean, there's some books behind you and me if you're watching. And you know, if you really want to know something, someone's wrote a book about it, right? You don't have to do it all yourself. You don't have to be like, oh well, I'm starting from scratch or reinvent the wheel. There's tons of books, but people don't want to spend $9.99, $14.99 on a book that could contain all the answers,
all the knowledge
that they need. Exactly.
That's it, innit? Yeah, no, without a shadow of a doubt. Can I nip the toilet? Sorry, I didn't know easy.
Yes, mate. No, it's fine. We'll pause it there, and then when you come back, we're going to talk about your
I can just feel my bladder starting to go.
Journey. Yeah. No worries.
I'm loving it.
So welcome back after that little short break there. So, mate, I'm just curious, in your personal opinion, and because we love to talk about success in this podcast, we love to talk about where people get their mindset and stuff from. And obviously, when we look back at your military career, you had that mindset of like at 18, which is very young to have a strong mindset, is I'm going to break this machine. So I'm just curious, like, what do you think, in your personal opinion, are some habits that make people successful, make them able to handle a business? Because obviously you work with many CEOs. I'm just curious, what kind of habits do you think make someone a successful person?
I think resilience is the number one.
Mm-hmm.
And there's loads of really cool metaphor, shareable Instagram sort of things about, you know, what resilience is. But what resilience is to me is when life's shit and it's a big shit sandwich, how many times can you keep taking a bite and you keep going back and saying, yeah, I'll have another one, mush. Like, how many times can you keep getting the knocks and keep just doing the things that you need to do? So for me, resilience is the number one, because like last year, I'm happy to talk about this, but I lost my dad and my niece in the space of 3 weeks. And sandwiched in between all of that was some of the biggest events I've ever ran. Speaking at a Think and Digital conference in front of 650 people in the Sage. And if I had down tools, no one would have criticised me. No one would have said, do you know what I mean? But that's not my way. Like, I teach people how to be resilient. And I took that as a challenge, as a test of my own resilience. To go, well, timing's not great, but shit still needs to be done. And now I feel like this is a test. So I was like, how do I manage this? What do I need to do? And how could was it the best John Beamson in that period? Absolutely not. But I still got shit done. I still moved forward, and in time, where I'm sure a lot of people were expecting me to phone them and say, I'm going to have to postpone your event. I can't. And the guy who runs the Think and Digital, I'm sure he was expecting me to phone him and say, look, I can't speak at your event now. But it wasn't my dad doing the talk, it was me. So I had to do it. And actually, again, from there, it happens for you, happens to you. It's actually been, in a way, for personally and business-wise, it's been a good move, because loads of people have moved towards me off the back of it. Because my whole shtick is, well, I'll teach you how to be that resilient. And by being resilient doesn't mean I'm not an autonomous robot. I took counselling, I took grief, I managed it. And that's the thing, I managed it until I was through that point where things calmed down, because you're not always like that. So I was like that at that time, but I knew it was going to go like that. And once it went like that, I was like, I need to take some time for myself when it does that. But at the point when it happened, it was like that. And momentum is a big thing. So like, don't stop your own momentum, because eventually it will stop.
That's where people trip up, though.
That's where
isn't it?
people trip up. So I was like, nah, I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to speak candidly, honestly on stage about this is.
But you know what? People respect that authenticity even more. You know what I mean? And no, like you said, no one would have blamed you for backing out or cancelling and stuff like that, because it's a horrendous thing. It's not. It's never going to be a time, unless you're completely not a psychopath, where you're going to be okay with it. It's just not going to happen. So, my respect to you for doing that as well, mate.
Yeah, like it was an absolutely torrid time. I'm not gonna lie. It was my 40th birthday as well.
Oh,
and
God.
Like, your 40th is supposed to be like, I think it's a big birthday,
a milestone. Yeah.
So, obviously I cancelled my birthday, but I had so much going on that I cracked on in a way of like, in a strategy way, brought in additional people, could tell where I was not at the races.
Yeah.
Brought in additional people to manage that where I was lacking, and navigated it, and ultimately moved round it and work back from that. If I don't do Thinking Digital, I don't get offered TED.
You sort of reverse engineered that down, yeah.
So like TED, and I didn't create this world, but I live in it. So now this week when I've been doing introductions, I've been saying to people, what do you know about me? Oh, not much. Here's my latest TED talk.
It's an authority piece as well.
It's an authority piece. Fucking hell, TED talk.
Yeah.
Like, it's an authority piece. So yes, I had a choice not to Thinking Digital. But all the opportunities that have come from that, if I could look at an arc now, if I'd have said no to Thinking Digital, I'm not here now. Because our paths wouldn't have crossed.
That's true. Well, yeah, that's true. I only know about you because of the TED Talk and stuff. Yeah,
exactly. So, whatever decision you make, yes or no, you have to be comfortable with it.
Yeah.
So I'm comfortable with the fact that I chose to keep going to work, keep serving my clients, keep doing the things I said I was going to do, and put my own grief and my own suffering to the side, and carry on being what I tell people I am, someone who can eat a lot of shit and still move forward. And that is where the power is. And understanding that in that space, you're not going to be the best you. And that's why you need great people around you.
You're going to turn up to, even if you've got 50% to give, you give the 50%.
100%.
If you've got 20% to give, you give the 20%, man. It's not, no one turns up 100%.
Nah.
Not every day. Some days will be better than others, but.
So to answer your question, for me, resilience is the most important part of being to be a business owner, an entrepreneur, CEO. Resilience, being consistent, empathy, compassion.
Yeah.
They go a long way. Like, they are key fundamental skills without a shadow of a doubt. It's something that I've worked on last year and carrying this year, because a lot of people showed me those skills when my tragedies happened to me, where I really thought, God, that means the world. Like, that person phoning me out of the blue and saying, really sorry, mate. Like, instead of just thinking, it's John, it'll be all right. Don't ever think that anyone's just all right. Know the answer to that question. Don't think, oh, yeah, he'd be all right. He's hard to kill. If you're unsure, then phone them.
Yeah.
Or go and see them. Don't think, I didn't want to bother you. Well, I wasn't doing it. I was sitting in my underpants eating Cheetos. Swallowing in my own pity.
Yeah.
Like, get the answer. There's too many people who go, I didn't want to bother you, mate, because I knew like what had happened, and it's because they're uncomfortable with
I
death.
think it's bollocks when people say they don't want to bother you. I genuinely think if someone says, if you've gone through some shit, and your mate or whoever says, I just didn't want to bother you, mate, while you're going through this, it's like, fuck off.
Yeah.
What a load of bollocks. You didn't pick up the phone. You made the choice. It wasn't because you didn't want to bother us, because I think that's a smokescreen. I don't think it's real.
It's because we're really poor with death. Like, we really are poor with death. Like, death is a part of life, but we're really poor at death.
Yeah.
We really don't. I think we've got a real awful relationship with it. Like, death is sad, without a shadow of a doubt, and there's certain things that happen to people that cause some. Like, my dad died of illness and old age. That's a part of life.
Yeah.
My niece died in just a tragedy. So one is naturally sadder than the other, and it's like, that's what's hard to understand. But yeah, we definitely have a poor relationship with bereavement in this. Maybe it's in the West, but certainly, like, I think
there is a lot of cultures where it's like, they kind of celebrate it more than mourn it almost as well. And
can you imagine if we could flip to that mindset
over here? I think it'd be very interesting to see if we could.
Like,
be interested in that. Like, you know, like I always said, like if I die before, you know, old age or whatever, I want everyone in my funeral to come dressed like a superhero or some shit, you know, just to make it a little bit more fun, because that's how I live my life, and that's how I want to go out, with a little bit of fun and a bit of laughter.
A friend of mine, his dad died a few years ago, and we went to his funeral, and he used to be a part of the Bishop Auckland football hooligan scene. And apparently they used to play Nelly the Elephant as like a part of like one of the hooligan songs.
Yeah.
And he played it at the funeral. That was the song.
That's good.
Nelly the Elephant.
Yeah.
Like, and it was like, everyone was like smiling and laughing.
Yeah.
And I thought, what a very unique way to like,
it is,
to go out.
Yeah. Go out with a bang.
And there isn't a right or wrong way neither, is there? Like, if you want the traditional, everyone in black, sad music, visuals, fine. If you want fancy dress superheroes, it's your day, innit?
Yeah, I just think, for me personally, I'd love if everyone's last memory isn't, you know, this sadness, this collection of people crying and wearing all black, but it's like, who turned up as fucking Batman? Who turned up as Flash? Who decided there was a Green Lantern? How many different versions of Spider-Man was that? You know, what I mean? I'd think, obviously I'm not gonna know because I'm dead. But, you know, like, I'm just for me to be, you know, to know that would probably happen, makes me smile a bit. It makes me take death on a bit easier.
Yeah, 100%. And by the way, everyone, this year could be the same. So like, it's not always going to be high fives and Freddos.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah,
get used to these things happening and understand that as you get older, like I'm 40, and your mum and they are going to die.
Yeah.
And that's the world we live in, and shit is going to happen.
Yeah.
So all these like, oh, last year was a shit year. Well, this year could be a shit year. And you know what determines that? You. Not what the Tories have done. Not what your football team's doing.
Yeah.
Not what anyone else is doing. The only person to blame if you've had a shit year is you.
Because you also get to respond to. People will do stuff. Things will happen that you can't control. But the best thing you can do is learn how to respond to these tragedies 100%. As best you can.
You know, whatever Boris Johnson did or didn't do in 10 Downing Street has no effect on me, because I was still doing the shit that I need to do.
Yeah.
And the people who use it as an excuse,
they're never gonna do much.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Because the next lot that come won't be any better either.
Yeah.
Like, you just look for cover stories. It blows my mind. People still say to me, yeah, do you know what, mate? It was difficult during COVID. Stop you there. How many years ago now?
Well, it's 4 years. Well, it'll be nearly 4 years ago now.
So you're still unfit for something that happened 4 years ago? Is that the story that we're saying?
Yeah. Still carrying lockdown weight.
Yeah.
It's like,
still carrying lockdown weight? Really? Because that was a while ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but I'm not interested in the stories with the shark and the helicopter. That's what you tell yourself to make it okay.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is, it's shit getting out of bed at 5 o'clock to go to the gym.
Yeah.
It's shit going and making choices like, should I have a fry up? I should have porridge. I'll have porridge. Should I have a banana? Should I have a Mars bar? It's the choice all along the way.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's what people don't want to do. Like, oh, do you know what I love? I love like the Christmas period. Yeah, because everyone gets to be shit. And no one criticises anyone for it. It's really comfortable. And everyone says, go on, it's Christmas. So there's a lot of acceptance.
Yeah.
What happens January? Right, I'm back on it. You've never been on it in your life.
Well, the Christmas period for me, if you're good, for me, it's if you're solid throughout the year, fucking enjoy your Christmas. Yeah. But if you're doing shit through the year, Christmas isn't gonna do you any. You know what I mean? It's you need. I would say if you shit through the year, take Christmas to really like don't eat anything. Just take it as like a massive chunk of time where you like. You know, proper get disciplined, because it'll really challenge you to be disciplined over Christmas. It really will,
because you've got everybody else saying.
Yeah. And I've done that when I first started PTing and stuff like that. My PT gave me he was like, Christmas, eat what you want, don't worry about it. And I was like, no, you know what, I'm gonna stick through, and I'm gonna say that. Just maybe it's a little bit of ego, I don't know, but I was like, I'm gonna stick through Christmas, and I'm not gonna eat chocolate, I'm not gonna eat sweets. Amazing. I'm gonna have me dinner because it's gains, but you know what I mean. I was like, I'm gonna skip the chocolate and stuff. Yeah.
Christmas gains, it's right. It's the ugly work, and that's why people are where they are, and the stories that we tell are for us to protect ourselves. Because we don't want to really go, I'm not where I should be, because I don't really want it.
Yeah, well, one of the things, just to sort of round up our episode as well, the one thing that I really want to get some information out of you is, and I've saved the best to last, is this lone survivor thing.
Invite only.
Invite only lone survivor. So tell me about the idea behind it, where you come up with it, and what you actually do for these people.
So lone survivor is a mix of lots of different events that I've ever done in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose a year and a half ago, I really sat down and said, what do I need to put on someone's desk that makes them go, oh, that's fucking mega, that.
They feel stupid to say
yeah,
no.
They feel like a kid on Christmas, like, oh my God. And then I looked at everything I'd done and I was like, interesting. And actually, one of the big things was I was accepted on a TV show where they were going to drop you off naked and you had to get from A to B.
Wow.
And that's a story for another time. And I got all the way to like the day before the show and then they binned me. That's another story. But I'm glad they did because I took a lot of learning from that. Mm-hmm. And I love the concept of like, oh, I'm not going to have anything on but boots. I'm going to be with somebody. The show aired. It was called Naked and Alone.
I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah, I was supposed to be in the first episode, but I got binned for a ginger chef.
Oh,
that's how it goes.
It's them gingers, innit? Fucking gingers, man.
Ginger chef, didn't me? But anyway, so I sat down and looked at it and I thought, well, what is business and what is lone survivor? And I did like a chart, isolation, time management, resource management, energy management, equipment management. And when you start business, what don't you have a lot of? You don't have a lot of resources and you don't have a lot of this, but you do have yourself, you do have your own motivation. So I made this like chart and I was like, right, yeah, lone survivor, right? So I built it in my mind and then I created this event and I looked at like who I'd worked with and I thought, who'd fucking love this? And then I just started ringing like people up and I was like, right, I've got this new event. It's called Lone Survivor. This is the premise. You won't know where you're starting. You won't know where you're finishing. You'll have minimalistic kit, no technology. This is how we monitor it and run it as a safe point of view. Yeah. But you get dropped off, map compass, you get given £5, and every pound you spend, you get deducted 10 minutes. So, like, there's consequences to overspending your resources.
Yeah.
And the first person to do it was a woman called Rebecca Dawson, who's got a fantastic business. And she completed the first Lone Survivor last summer. And she did 52 Ks in 23 hours 30 from Clanberis, Sword in the Ground, to Harlech Castle. And she didn't know where she was starting or finishing. She only found out where she was starting on the morning of the event, and she only found out the finish 15 minutes before she started the event. And she had to plan everything herself and execute it. And
while being timed.
Timed under pressure, no mobile phone, no like phone a friend, none of that, and just manage all of these emotions. And then from there, once you run an event like that, more people are like, oh my God. And then I've got a guy called Chris Garvey. He's taking it on at the end of January. And then Rebecca's coming back for round 2. So what I've done is I've broke it into Lone Survivor Summer, Lone Survivor Winter, Lone Survivor Scotland, and then Lone Survivor Jungle. So it's offering the people who are at different levels the next challenge. So Scotland will involve another element which that person won't know about. So there'll be a unique task to take on. So they'll have the other elements that they've already conquered, but there'll be an unknown element of like, what's the unknown task? Yeah. And then obviously winter is obviously winter, so there's elements of the weather and shorter days, so there's additional challenges there.
So what kind of kit do you give them?
You have your own equipment, and obviously we provide training as well. So everyone needs to sharpen the navigation up. That's just the fundamentals. So there's always like a training plan. There's always options, loads of training, medium training, minimum training, no training, because someone might be at a great level. Yeah. And then you start with your hiking gear, so you've got all your safety gear, it all gets checked to make sure you've got everything that you need. And what you don't have is your mobile phone, because we become so reliable on mobile phones now that when I take that off you, you're like...
It's like missing an arm.
Wow. Yeah. And you don't have those apps that help you navigate, so it's all map and compass work, or it's all asking people, I'm here, how do I get here? Interacting with people, and that's what business is. When you hit a challenge, how'd you get over the next challenge into the next field? So there's a lot of metaphors between the event and business. Yeah. And then unfortunately, I had to do my own event in the end of November due to a personal tragedy. But I just thought, well, it's either happened for me, it's happened to me.
So well, it wasn't your personal tragedy this one time, was it? It was somebody else's, and you had to fill in the space.
Because the event's so unique, you can't just phone someone else and say, "Hey,
do you fancy hopping in? Fancy covering?" Yeah,
it takes a lot. So I was like, "Well, I'll do it because there's nobody else who could do it apart from me at this moment."
Yeah.
And from there, actually, I'm glad because it made me realise when you do your own thing, once you're in it, you can go, yeah, we need to look at that. And I had like a lot of time on my own to think, clarity. And actually, from a personal point of view, there was like a time in the day, it was like, I want to say like coming towards the end, so maybe it's like 10 Ks left. Like a little voice in my head was like, how do you think you managed your dad and your niece passing away? Like, because I had that much, no distraction.
Yeah.
There was only me time, so there was like a lot of time where no music, no distraction. So like those deep memories come through, and I was like, oh, now's not a great time. No, now's a perfect time.
Yeah.
Because you're on your ass, physically and mentally, and we've still got 10K to go.
Yeah.
And it's going to get dark in half an hour. Now's the best time. Because that's when they come for you. They come for you when you're like, oh, it's not a great time. But that's when they land on your doorstep. So actually, it showed me another side of the event because everyone's got something going on that they've hidden away. And what Lone Survivor will do, there'll be a time when you're just walking through a field or you're walking on a hill, that thing that you've been avoiding will knock on the door and say, hey, should we have that conversation that we've been avoiding with ourselves? Because you're always hiding your phone or you're always busy or you're always bullshitting somewhere else in your life. And it's a powerful thing, mate. So Chris Garvey's taking on the next one, and I'm now having lots of conversations with people. And how I do it, if I think you're a good fit, I'll invite you, and you'll get a handwritten letter with the proposal of the event, and it'll be sent to you. And then there's like clear instructions about what you need to do to take action. Yeah. If you do that, then you're in.
Remind me to give you my address.
Yeah. Well,
this
is the thing. So obviously I've made it invite only because it creates a bit of like...
It's exclusive, yeah.
It's exclusive. Yeah. So the people on it are exclusive. And the people who get offered it, I also feel like they're a great fit and they all need a challenge. And what Lone Survivor will do, it doesn't matter if you're the fittest suitman in the world, there'll be something in your locker that isn't good. And that'll be the hardest thing that you've got to work on. So... obviously, me and my background, my navigation's good, my physical fitness is good, but there was things like deep that I hadn't dealt with that caused me problems on the day. So there'll be something that comes for you. So if you're not very good at interacting with the human beings, then Lone Survivor forces you to interact with human beings.
You got to ask for directions.
You've got to knock on someone's door and say, like I did, excuse me, mate, I think I'm here and I want to get here. Is this your... do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It involves speaking to a stranger, and apparently that's now a thing. As in, like, people don't like to do it.
Yeah.
So it will involve you. And each season will have a unique challenge. So obviously the winter when I did it, shorter days, the air's damp, the ground's damp.
Yeah.
And your kit and equipment is constantly being penetrated by that cold weather.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely draining your battery.
Yeah.
So... yeah, it's good. And then there's like all the boring safety stuff, which is more my concern. But I don't run things in a shit way. So from a safety side, there's a tracker. So people...
I was going to say, is it like an Apple tag or something? Or
so I use like a proper event tracking company.
Right.
So they're around the world, as in they track the big, massive events. So like you get... on the day, a loved one or anyone can follow the event because they can follow the tracker. And then the individual gets given a HF radio... and like I call it like a dead phone, so like an emergency phone.
Yeah.
Where they can either I can ring them or they can ring me.
It's got like one number.
You just ring it. It's the Nokia 3310. Like battery lasts about 14 years. It's good in the cold weather. So like it's a proper thing, and it's ultimately where I want to go.
Yeah.
And as an event is Ninja, because not knowing where you're gonna start. And then we get there in the morning-ish, and I kick you out and I say, so your finish is, any questions? Nah, see you tomorrow. I just drive off and leave you.
Yeah,
and
amazing.
Then it's that whole, like,
I love it.
Rabbit in the headlights thing, do you know what I mean? Because you're like...
you just see them in the rear view mirror, like, bye!
Spinning in a field, like, that's how it works.
Yeah.
And then I run it with a great girl called Rebecca, who's, if I'm yin, she's my yang. So she offers a very different...
amazing.
take on it. So
Yeah.
if I'm like there as bad cop, she's there as good cop.
Right. I like it.
Yeah,
it's like Starsky and Hutch kind of vibes.
Yeah, and
off.
she does a lot of the training, so she does a lot of the navigation stuff. I'm actually not, apart from the actual main event and the first assessment, you never really ever see me because like I'm supposed to be the bad guy. So when you do see me, it's like, oh,
fuck, here he is.
on.
Yeah. So, mate, listen, where can people find out to work with you on other stuff? Where can people follow your journey and stuff now?
So, the CEO Adventurer Instagram, the CEO Adventurer John Beamson LinkedIn, and then www.ceoadventurer.com on my shiny new website. John Beamson on Facebook, but please, if you're going to add me on Facebook, then don't invite me to your group and then send me a spammy DM about how would I like to do this, that, and t'other. Because
how'd you like to buy into cryptocurrency?
That's not marketing. That's dog shit.
Yeah, cold DMs is rough, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like it's not a thing. And then if you do want to take action, I love a phone call. So if it's your cup of tea, just give us a ring, mush.
Don't try and buy John a coffee. He won't accept that offer.
I'm cool with coffee. Thanks very much.
Cool, guys. Well,
awesome.
Go follow John. Go check out his website as well. His shiny new website as it is. And obviously, leave us as always the 5-star review. None of this 4-star bullshit. It's 5-star or just leave. And I'll see you all in the very next episode. Take care.
Mega. Cheers.